Chapter 3 is the chapter where the animals really take ownership of their newfound freedom on the farm. You'd have to ask yourself, if there were no more adults or authorities in my life, would I work harder with this freedom, or would I use it as an opportunity to work less hard? If there were no teachers, would I educate myself? No parents, would I still do my chores? No bosses, would I still do my job at the company? The animals, it seems, have to answer this question for themselves. And if the beginning of chapter 3 is any indication, it seems like the animals really and truly do take personal ownership of the responsibilities of the farm. The story tells us that all of the animals contribute to the work of the harvest in their own way. It was the biggest harvest that the farm had ever seen. There was no wastage whatsoever, and not an animal on the farm had stolen so much as a mouthful. You see, the animals are all enthusiastically living out the idealistic dream they originally had. The farm is entirely theirs, and they each take joy in carrying out their duties because they know that not only the work, but the rewards this time are all theirs to share. The pigs get special notice during the harvest because, since we've noted they're the most intelligent animals on the farm, they take on a more supervisory, managerial kind of leadership role. During the harvest, the pigs did not actually work, but directed and supervised the others. And then the story casually mentions that it was natural that they should assume the leadership. No one seems to have a problem with this role the pigs take on, and it's up to you to determine whether or not you would count leadership and supervising as a fair share of the workload. But when we do talk about actual physical work that's being done on the farm, we can't help but turn to Boxer, the horse. Boxer is the biggest, strongest animal on the farm, and what he lacks in brains, he makes up in muscle. He gets a long description of his admirable work ethic, because not only is he simply strong, but he works really hard. It's fair to say that the farm would not be successful without Boxer on it. We're told from morning to night he was pushing and pulling, always at the spot where the work was hardest. And his answer to every problem, every setback was, "I will work harder." So all of the animals are finding their unique roles and contributing to the work of the farm. Everyone is fed, everyone is happy. Things are good, right? Well, sort of. It's worth it to call attention to one particular character who isn't quite seeing things as super rosy just yet. Benjamin the donkey. Benjamin, we're told, is quite unchanged by the rebellion. He still works, but doesn't seem to care about the rebellion or have the same enthusiasm for it that the rest of the animals demonstrate. All he says about this is that donkeys live a long time, hinting that because he's old, he's seen things and understands a bit more about how the world actually works. We also see a bit of discord between the pigs. Even though they've done a stupendous job organizing the work on the farm and moving life forward, Snowball and Napoleon seem to endlessly debate with one another, as though they're vying against each other for ultimate say over what goes on at the farm. The story tells us whatever suggestion either of them made, the other could be counted on to oppose it. But still, the pigs continue to get smarter by studying arts like blacksmithing and carpentry, and Snowball seems to have endless energy for organizing the animals in various committees for the improvement of the farm. It's humorous to note that these committees by and large fail, thanks in no small part to the lesser intelligence of the other animals. But Snowball does succeed in one important realm. He helps many of the animals learn to read. Of course, very few animals have any interest in reading, even after they learn how, and they're happy to leave the intellectual work to the pigs. That being said, the chapter ends on one interesting and somewhat sinister note. There is milk and apples in abundance on the farm, but the pigs all agree, even Snowball and Napoleon, that they are going to keep all of that for themselves. This seems unfair to the other animals. That is, until Squealer. Remember, he's that pig who's so slick with his talk that he could practically convince you that black is white. Squealer explains that the pigs don't even like milk and apples, but they make the sacrifice of eating these to sustain their brains. The animals listen to Squealer and shrug, convinced, at least for the moment, that it is okay. The pigs get the exclusive right to this luxury.